One of my biggest fears used to be being bored. And I think it might be for a lot of us. When I was a kid, I wrote a poem. And the poem had done something called anthropomorphize boredom. I didn't know this word at the time. But what I had done in this poem when I was in maybe grade 6, grade 7, was I talked about sitting under a tree, and it was a beautiful day, when suddenly it got me. The boredom. It struggled, and it took me to the ground. It suffocated me, and it was horrible. I remember my English teacher thinking, wow, that's actually a very interesting idea, that she could anthropomorphize this idea of boredom. In the poem, I talked about how much I suffered when it got me. And to this day, I still think the idea of boredom, of having nothing to do, suffocates my soul. If you're anything like most of us, we need to stay constantly busy. We need to stay doing things, getting ahead. We need to do everything we can to shut out the indefinable silence that comes inside of our heads when we have nothing to do. And it's ironic that in having nothing to do, all of us want to do nothing. We're all so stressed out from work. We all have way too many things on the go. We all have constantly screens open, listening to things and playlists so long that even if we lived 3 lifetimes, we never get to all of the content. So it's interesting that I think there are other people like me who are super afraid of being bored. In my experience, when I am bored, that is when the voices inside my head that tell me that I am not good enough and will never be good enough start to come out to play. When I was in my early 20s, I was in a very bad breakup. The relationship got very toxic. We were no longer respectful to each other. And I remember at that time I had a boss who said, you need to just be by yourself for a bit, because I was always going out. And I said, I don't want to be by myself, because when I'm by myself, I hear all these really painful things that I can't escape. And I learned that as long as I could keep myself busy, I wouldn't get into more trouble. Because when there is something inside you that is screaming, that it's not having its needs met, that it feels broken or incapable, if you're anything like me, you will do everything you can to save yourself from those feelings. I have learned to avoid boredom at all costs. And as a result, I have learned to stress at every opportunity. Today is one of the first days in a long time where I have given myself time to do absolutely nothing. And it's from this space I'm able to get in touch with that narrative again, but from a different perspective. I'm able to hear that narrative and think, what else would you like to say? So, today I decided to record my second YouTube video, even though my hair is still a freaking mess. Even though I have no idea how to actually draw out my ideas and tell my stories just yet. Because I figured if I leaned into the fear and the boredom and let it tell me what it wants to tell me in a different narrative, one where it's taking care of me instead of trying to destroy me, I thought maybe that would be worth sharing. But more importantly, I thought maybe it would help get me on my way, because between here and what I see as being possible, there's a lot of mini steps that I don't even know yet. And I figured rather than staying in my head about it and stopping myself, because I've got really bad bedhead and I don't have a clear plan yet, and I don't want to be embarrassed, and I don't want to be shut out, and I don't want to be all these other things that would usually make me want to be perfect, I thought What happens if I lean into it? We'll see.